Oh, can I vote right now while we're doing this?
Can we focus on the show? Like,
Oh, I
for
gotta sign
for
in.
10 fucking seconds, can we focus on the show? Am I the only one who cares about this goddamn program? 216 episodes. And you want to multitask during it.
I
This is
do.
fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, Neil. I don't care if you vote. I'm just giving you a hard time. Going in 3, 2, 1.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello! My name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. You, dear listener, have for whatever reason decided to listen to another Horrible Gaming podcast, but I'm not alone. Usually I'm never alone. With me is...
That's Neil, aka Tiny Wizard.
You did adjust my camera so I have less man titty in it.
Less man titty. 50% less man titty.
50%
because
less man titty.
I think mine. No. It's now 100%.
100% less man titty.
100% less man titty. Just for you guys.
There you go. We're man titty free.
Thanksgiving episode.
we're man titty free for
Man
Thanksgiving.
titty free. Just for this one.
Established 2023, man titty free.
Man titty free since 23.
This is the start of the show.
This is
train
great.
wreck. Just so that everybody knows, due to holiday scheduling, we are recording this relatively early. So basically Thursday after the last episode came out, because we've got topics. We're good to go. You guys all know what we're talking about. With that being said, if you post in Fantraction if you don't hear your post in Fantraction for last week's episode on this episode, I will endeavor to go back and read it. Of course, as long as it's not a full song's lyrics. Mainly because we're recording so early, we just had to do it early. That's just how it works. All right.
That works.
But what are we talking about today? Video Game Awards, VGA. That's what we're talking about today. Nominees come out. I am surprisingly not as upset as I thought I was going to be. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through the nominees, say what we feel about it. And that's today's talking point. But before we do any of that, of course, we've got fan traction, but we've got to thank the people who make this show possible. Behind our ugly mugs is a custom graphic that is provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. Of course, the theme song for this show and all shows here on Old Man Gaming are provided by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, that is Fan Traction. That's where we, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We read out your comments anywhere we see them, anywhere we read them, anywhere we remember to anyway. And then, of course, Jason coming in hot with a lot of comments again, so let's get into it. Jason, right off the bat, Chucky summons the spiritual construct of his human soul to pick him up so he can carry hook survivors. It's kind of a cop-out, but the game is several years old. They probably couldn't find a way to do it otherwise within the confines of the engine. I'd have preferred just dragging the struggling survivor to the hook and summoning a stepladder, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, that works. That totally works. I mean, that's totally fine. I would I'm sure Chucky's gonna have some powers from the I haven't watched the gameplay yet, but from the trailer I watched, it looks like maybe he can crawl under pallets and stuff like that. Maybe some anti-looping stuff. Would be a great way to balance him if he had a hard time dragging them to the hooks. But I could be wrong. There are a lot of flashlight trolls out there. So, moving on. Jason, so when the three of you all are done with Redfall Down, y'all are going to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, right? Nope. Not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. Completely aside of the fact that Neil and Kayla are not big on games as service. But it's not going to happen because I'm mad at that game. And once you've lost my trust, I don't want to play your game anymore. Although I do believe this comment was mostly sarcastic from Jason.
Never
Jason,
ever will I get a multiplayer, Halo multiplayer match in Infinite with you guys.
Probably not. Probably not. I boycott.
I was gonna say
it's on my boycott list, so
it's on the list.
yeah.
so
If it's on the Zach boycott list, he don't play it.
maybe I can make you guys do Halo Reach or Halo 4 multiplayer.
Well, I mean, we've done that quite a few times on stream.
Well,
I very much enjoy it.
I'm talking matchmaking.
Oh, are you talking matchmaking?
I am talking matchmaking with people. Random people.
We did that once or twice, but it was in Halo
did.
Wars, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, we did Halo Wars, but
Yeah.
that was different. That was for fun. That was with the community. That was, I mean, it was a great time.
If you
Not
could talk your
discounting
wife
at
into
all.
it, I'll do it for a stream.
I think
if you
she
could
would be
talk.
the one. She would be the one that I would have to try. The
Yeah,
hardest
I was about to say,
allow
if you
me
could
to do it.
convince her, I'm in. He then types this, and Jason, I'm not quite sure what this sentence means. I'm sure it's a dig on me somehow, but I'm just not sure. It just says, I want to be the guy is not a Zach game then. Maybe is I want to be the guy is a game? I want to be the guy is not a Zach game then.
I have no idea.
I don't know what that means, Jason. I'm sorry. You could be mad at me. I don't know if it's a dig at me. I don't know what you're referencing here. So we're going to have to move on. Neverwinter Nights had a module. This is true. This is true. I spoke out of turn, and I completely forgot about this. I almost purchased Neverwinter Nights and Neverwinter Nights 2 because of this reason. They had a module maker, and Neverwinter Nights 2 also had one, but it was much harder for me to use. I do remember those having module makers. I don't know. I still don't feel like they've made a game. Like, I don't think it's going to be as good as a game that's directly made for that, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Like, if you have a game that's specifically this is a TTRPG maker, I think you could just do more of that than just having, like, a module maker in it. Though, this was pretty close. I actually completely forgot about these games.
Neverwinter Nights is something that I hadn't heard of in a long time.
Yeah, there's still games out for it. I think there's another. I don't know. Moving on. YouTube keeps recommending Starfield is awesome and guides on how to do things after the last update videos. And I'm pretty much over Starfield a month ago. 2 months? When did it come out? I think I played it 2 or 3 weeks, partly because I wanted to do the Crimson Fleet arc, which sucked, and haven't gone back. That was me saying which sucked. The Starborn reset, largely the reason. I still don't care about spoilers. So Jason, I know you're saying that, and I know there's definitely some YouTube people out there who are still covering Starfield, because it does get recommended to me, mainly because some of the people that I subscribe to are still very much into Starfield. So I definitely see some Starfield videos, but like the Starfield is awesome thing, I think we can pretty much put a cap in that's not a real, like it's definitely run its course for the most part. I think it's got its fans, but like overall, I think it's not the hit. And it's going to be indicative of what we're talking about today with the VGAs. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see as many videos to the point where I would say like it's a Starfield awesome thing. Like I definitely see some videos on it because I'm subscribed to ACG, he still likes Starfield. Open World Games likes Starfield. There's a couple of other things that get forwarded to me here and there. But overall, like right now, my YouTube feed is like Remnant and Baldur's Gate and, in addition to my other normal stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a case of the algorithm fucking with you is what I think it is. Because I don't think anybody is really, like, I don't think anybody out there is really, like, hoisting the Starfield banner, like
Not really, no.
From my point of view, you know.
No, that's the thing is it's very much we'll kind of get into it I think a little bit whenever we get into the nominees and everything. It was a game that came out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one of those things that we got into it a little bit before. It's like it was hyped up to be something bigger than what it actually wound up to be. If there wasn't this massive lead up and hype to it, I think there would be a bit different of a reception to it than what it ended up being.
Then this next one, obviously the back and forth confrontation of Jason is just above it all. I don't get mad when the rain is wet or when fire is hot, nor do I get mad when that corporations lie. Some things are elemental, inevitable. Hey man, some people want to take it up, some people want to just take it lying down, some people want to fight, some people want to scream about it on the internet. I'm in the third column, so this is the show where I get to do that. You're going to have to deal with it. Next, Neil from Philbilly. Neil, I know exactly what you mean with thrown weapons. I've figured it out. The game is actually being more realistic than you may think. It takes into account the arc of throwing. So when you fire a bolt, it goes straight while a javelin arcs.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I definitely, it's one of those things that always threw me off. It's like I have line of sight, I don't get it. That's one thing though that I would really love to test is because I just ignored picking up crossbows. I would love to pick up a crossbow to see like how that changes the play style a little bit. But at the same time, I'm a barbarian and fuck that shit.
Who do you guys play with on your party? Like, I know Kayla's a druid.
Yeah, so, she is...
I'm guessing Karlak is on there because she loves Karlak.
Yes, so
you've got a double barbarian.
Yeah, we have two barbarians, a wizard, and the not cleric, why am I... druid.
Wow. You guys... Wow. Well, do you guys just use healing potions for healing then?
Lots of times, yeah. She is picking up some healing spells.
That's good.
Of course, I am thinking about cross-classing over into Warlock, just because I am doing Wild Mage Barbarian. So that gives me some funsies, and I think that would play into that a little bit.
Interesting. My main playthrough is straight half-orc monk with pink skin. Love him. And then I'm with Astarion, Shadowheart, and Karlak. My one true video game love. And it's been a lot of fun. I cross-classed Karlak, though. She is a beast. I got 4 levels in Fighter and 6 levels of Barbarian, and she just... Action surge and rage and murder festiva, man.
Dude, I tell people all the time, like in like legit D&D, just take, 3 levels of fighter or something like that? 2 levels of fighter to get action surge. That's
at least in Baldur's Gate.
It's literally all you need. No, it's pretty 1-to-1.
I know it's close.
It's like... That's all you need. It's literally the only thing that you need it for. Same goes like if somebody wants to go rogue, just get assassin rogue. Like that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all
you need.
Unless you want to role play a character and have a 3-dimensional.
Yeah, of course. But like
if you're doing just a straight build,
of making broken ass characters.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Not to get too deep into this here, but one character that I made that was the best character ever. Echo Knight fighter with rogue. Basically, Echo Knight, you use your shadow to create a doppelganger. So I created my own advantage for sneak attacks.
Nice. There it is. There it is. That's the winner. That's the win button right there. That's nice. All right, so moving on before we go down a Baldur's Gate William Holen is our last comment, of course. Hi! Exclamation point. Oh man, when I saw Maker's Mark, I thought you would talk about my favorite bourbon. Oh well.
That's what we have. I can't show it because it's all the way across. So the other side of this room is our bar, and it's stocked up with a litany of bourbons. And I believe we still have a bottle of Makers over there.
You know, I don't drink liquor, so I just put Maker's Mark in there because I thought that I'd get a bunch of accidental clicks. I'm not gonna lie to you. 100% not gonna lie to you. Disney not suing Overwatch is telling to how much no one cares about Overwatch. Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
William Houlihan, shots fired.
I mean, it's definitely, at this point, it's definitely, especially with Overwatch League and everything shutting down, like, Overwatch is basically on its way out.
Do you want to know why it's on its way out, though? I want to say why it's on its way out. And I don't believe for a second it's because the viewership went down. I believe it is because how they treated their customers with the whole Overwatch to Overwatch 2 fiasco. The fact that you had to have a smartphone to sign in. You had to give people your phone number. You couldn't play old Overwatch anymore to play Overwatch 2. The free-to-play model that they fucked up that second launch so bad that I think it's killing all ancillary things about Overwatch. You know, it's just my personal opinion.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Definitely not Activision Blizzard.
Well, and then like you just compound the stuff of Activision Blizzard and all its bad press going on. You know, it's just, but to finish his, we're getting ahead of ourselves. To finish his comment, thanks for your input on RCG. River City Girls. Gonna jump on the second one then. Watched a few of your streams too. Seems quite amazing. And thanks for the show. Cheers. Hashtag opening the door to shit. So, yeah, I think that, like I said, RCG is, as it stands right now, it is the best 2D side-scrolling brawler in the genre. I still stand by that. I've had many arguments with people about it. My friends who get mad at me because I was a Streets Rage 4 person. I'm still a Streets Rage 4 person. I just think if you put those games up against each other, RCG2 is the overall better game. That's just what I'm saying.
It definitely, because like I only played it that one time with you on the stream.
Yeah.
And I loved how it did the side-scrolling brawler, but also, by the way, is an open world thing too. Like,
yes. Yeah.
I love that marrying of those two, and it didn't feel too big, but it was nice and concise in what it was trying to do.
Well, and that's how the old ones were. They actually started that whole open world trend, but this just builds on it to such a level that is so quality. Plus you've got 6 characters in there. You've just got tons of bosses, tons of side things to do. I love that game. Absolutely, hands down, love that game. The fact that you can collect bad guys to use later, I love that shit. Like, there's just so many aspects to that game that make it replayable and fun. All right, so I think that covers fan traction, right?
Sure.
Let's get into it. Let's get into video game awards. I forgot. I'm the guy in charge here.
You are the captain of the ship.
The captain.
The captain of the shit.
All right, we will be right back with Video Game Award nominations. We're going to talk about it. Keeley's Fuckfest, year 2023.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2023, and it's November.
It is.
Which means it's time for another Keeley's Fuckfest. That's right, the Video Game Awards. The Video Game Awards release in December every year. And yeah, every year we have a problem with it. I think just about every year we've had major problems with them. I will say, I'm pleasantly surprised this year. Not with everything. I still have problems, but nowhere near the amount of problems that I had with them before. At least the nominations. I'm sure I will have huge problems with whoever wins. But yeah. So the other thing is the Video Game Awards is just like another reason to have like a trailer fest, right? Like they barely do the awards anymore, which is really frustrating to me. It takes all the respect out of it. Like I don't want to retread this. Anybody who's been listening to this show for any period of time over the last 216 episodes knows how we feel about this, right? Like the degradation of this, how much we don't like Jeff Keeley. Like just go back, find any one of the previous shows where we bitch about it. Look at those. I just don't want to say it another fucking time. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to go through the categories. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what should be nominated, what shouldn't, all of that stuff. Do we want to just start with the big one? The Game of the Year?
Yeah, may as well. I mean, inevitably, we're going to end up doing what we always do and get to a certain point where it's like, I don't give a shit about the rest of these.
Yeah, what I figured we'd do is we'd skip through to some of the big ones. Right?
Yeah,
and then the little ones, the like repeat ones, it's like sound direction then audio direction. Like, okay, got it. You know, like, so the nominees in the category of Game of the Year, there's 6 of them again this year. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Those are our 6 nominees for Game of the Year. Do you want opening thoughts or?
Yeah, I'll take opening thoughts.
Sure.
I don't know as if I feel like Resident Evil 4 and Alan Wake 2 were just kind of put out there as something to pad the category. Not denying that they are good / hotly anticipated games that have come out, but it's like one of those things to where, like, when you look at Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, even Super Mario Brothers Wonder, those are things, they're absolute juggernauts. And let's say the other 2 are just kind of like giants. I don't think those 2 have a shot in hell.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I think
a long pause.
Yeah, somebody texted me right as I was about to talk, and for whatever reason, that decided to skip my brain like a CD player.
Cool.
But okay, in the world of logic, right? Anybody looking at these 6, none of them have a chance other than really 2, and really,
Yeah.
I don't think even between those 2.
It's not going to be a contest. I already know what you're about.
It's
to
Baldur's
say.
Gate
It's
3.
not going to be a.
The thing is,
Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. Like
right. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom. Look. I will say this. I decided to boycott Tears of the Kingdom because of its pricing, which I still stand by. Okay. That being said, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game. I never said it was a bad game. It's just, it's a sequel. It's more of the original. It shouldn't be priced high. Like, that was my biggest gripe with it, right? I don't necessarily hate the game just in itself. I just won't play it because of the way they decided to price it. We all understand this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It doesn't have a chance against Baldur's Gate 3 in a logical man's eye. And again, I'm not trying to hate on it, but it is a sequel. It is the same assets, the same UI, the same basic feel as the first one. There's just a greater amount of it with some different mechanics behind the powers. Like, I've watched enough of this game to know that that's what this is. And there's a lot of it. There's a ton of it. I'm not saying there isn't. Baldur's Gate 3... like, I would say innovates in not only a genre, but in all RPG gaming and possibly gaming on a whole. It does things that other games don't do contextually. It does things that other games don't do, like socially. It does games that other games don't do just with its system. Like, it is all around a different animal than any other game we've seen possibly before. I mean, even in the CRPG space, like, this is not, like there's CRPGs, and I'm not saying CRPGs are bad, I'm just saying, like, the other day, I killed a quest giver because I did not like him. Okay, he was very clearly a bad guy. I didn't want to work for him, so I just decided to kill him. In my brain, okay, and anybody else out there's brain playing video games would immediately think, well, that's not good. He's either going to be unbeatable or unkillable, like in Starfield. I killed him. He's dead. He's gone. I've robbed his corpse, and I've got to figure out a different way to do the quests. That's the kind of game that you're playing here in Baldur's Gate. Like, it completely lets you mold what you're seeing around you to what you want it to be. It's a completely different animal. It's an absolutely completely different animal than these other 5 games. That being said, well, I haven't given you a chance to respond to that part. You go now. You talk now.
You talk now. So honestly, like I've briefly mentioned this before, but between those two, had you asked me, let's call it 4 months ago, what my game of the year was going to be, it would have 100% unequivocally been Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
Hands down. Still love the game. I finally peeled myself away because I want to. I finally did what I said I was going to do and save half of it for later, like a sandwich. With Tears of the Kingdom, it was an excellent game. I loved every single aspect of it. I love everything that they put into it, everything that they did. That also said, Baldur's Gate 3, they're beyond comparison in the features, what you can and can't do, like the level of freedom. I thought Tears of the Kingdom was big in the level of freedom. Yeah, sure, if you can find a way to get to a place, guess what? You broke the game. Congratulations. Go do the thing. Baldur's Gate 3 is so free, it's almost terrifying.
Yeah.
And daunting because it makes you think of things in an entirely different way. So much so that the opening act, like me playing through the opening act was still me playing it like a video game. It is not a video game. Like,
yeah, we even had conversations like that, didn't we? Where you were like, well, I didn't want to go here and talk to her because then I'd have to kill the bad guys. I was like, no.
Exactly.
You don't have to do shit. You could talk to her all day long and then axe her in the back of the head, you know?
Which, fun fact, I actually finally did that part, and I got terrified because I got locked in the cutscene during split screen, and we couldn't do anything, and it was like 3 hours since we had saved, and I was really scared. But, yeah, that's the thing. That Baldur's Gate 3 is just... It is what everybody says that it is. And I do believe that other developers have every single right to be terrified of something like Baldur's Gate 3 and having the bar being that now. Because now that we know it's possible, I wouldn't say it's what's expected, but we can't fall back on shitty ass excuses of, oh, we can't because of X, Y, and Z. No, you can, you just don't want to. Baldur's Gate 3 is not just a game, it's a statement.
Yeah.
It's gonna win Game of the Year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll point out the year that God of War won over Red Dead Redemption 2. That was a travesty. I think that there have been travesties before. It's Keeley's Fuckfest. Anything's possible. But yeah, I think that that's the way it goes. I do want to say a couple of things about this category before we move on. Aside from that, because I think we're in complete agreement on Baldur's Gate. I think it will be talked about for years to come, and every game will be compared to it in some way, and if it's not, whoever is doing the journalist is dropping the ball. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of game that Baldur's Gate 3 is. I am not happy with one snub, and I'm very happy with another snub that I want to talk about. Number one, Remnant 2 is not on here, and Remnant 2 should absolutely be on here. I know a lot of people right now are saying, well, it's not that big. It was huge when it came out. It was absolutely huge when it came out. It was talked about all over the place. Everybody loved it. I think it got a little bit overshadowed by Baldur's Gate after that, but if you're going to put Resident Evil 4 in there, I don't understand why Remnant 2 is not making the cut on this. Plus, it just came out with a DLC that's amazing. Like, it's a great game that should absolutely be on this list, hands down. And then, the snub I want to talk about Starfield is nowhere to be seen in the Game of the Year nominations. I mean, given everything we've seen from Keeley's Fuckfest in the last few years, the 5 years we've been covering that, it would be here, right? Like, it's a big name Bethesda thing. Like, it's just like a shoo-in that they'd put it in even if it didn't win. Hell, motherfucker nominated Kojima's shit show. Like, even though that was only like a 6 everywhere. Remember that? It was, I mean, that was because Keeley was in the game. Yeah, I said it. It's real. That's why. But like, Bethesda would just Bethesda released something, it's in Game of the Year contention. Like, you know what I mean? Unless it's like Fallout 76 levels of bad, and Starfield wasn't. So it's not on here, and that makes me incredibly happy. Overall, I also think Marvel, like, I haven't played Marvel Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, or Super Mario Wonder, but I know they're all amazing games. I think they should all be on here. Alan Wake 2, I've heard great things about. It's not my bag. It will probably never be my bag. I don't think Resident Evil 4 should be on this list. I'm sorry if I get hate from that. I don't think it... I think, like I said, I think Remnant 2 was better, and I also think Hogwarts Legacy was better, and it's not on here. I think that Resident Evil 4 should not be here, and I think that mainly it's here because outside... Well, no, they've got Nintendo's. That tinfoil hat doesn't even work. I don't know why Resident Evil 4 is on this list, and Hogwarts isn't, or Remnant 2 isn't, or some of the... Or even fucking Dave the Diver was... more of a earth-shattering big game release than Resident Evil 4. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The other thing is if we're nominating Game of the Year based on how much noise it makes, you know, Resident Evil 4 was a blip this year. Like, let's be honest, it was a blip. Like, it came out, it was good, everybody liked it, and then we moved on. It was like 2 weeks of the news feed for gaming this year. Remnant 2 lasted for a month. Dave the Diver lasted for 2 months. Like, Hogwarts Legacy lasted longer than that. I feel like we've had much more impactful big games. I'm not saying Resident Evil 4 is a bad game. I just think, comparatively, I don't think that should be on the list, personally.
Yeah, so, I mean, you brought up Hogwarts Legacy. I feel like that should have at least been nominated in action adventure. I'm sure we'll cover that a little bit more.
Oh, I hate
down there.
I hate their... Yeah, we will, because I hate their categorying.
Yeah, it's really dumb. But yeah, there's out of all of these, I feel like they could have swapped out Resident Evil 4 at least for something else. I know they try to run the gamut of, you know, different genres and stuff like that. And, you know, fine, cool. Like, I get that. I'm all for making everything rounded out. You know, you can't just have every single, you know, game of the year be like the shooter, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is Resident Evil 4 just does not. I feel like it doesn't fit on
it. Doesn't.
It was.
Really doesn't.
It's a remake of a game that we already had. It's not a big, massive revelation. If you want to put it in something, put it in like the
best action.
Action.
Yeah.
Or action adventure. Who knows what the hell those two categories are.
I think that it's a complete botch, in my opinion. And as far as the running the gambit thing goes, Hogwarts Legacy and Remnant 2 still run the gambit. You know what I mean? Like, Remnant 2 is a shooter. Remnant 2 is a Bloodborne shooter. You know what I mean? So, like... And there's no other shooters on the list. So, like, I don't know. I feel like... that's a botch. But overall, I don't hate this as much as I usually do, right?
No. That's all we can really hope for as we get older.
So which ones of these do we want to do? I do want to point out, again, and we've treaded on this, their fucking categories are bullshit. Here at Old Man Gaming, for our Horrible Game Awards, which is coming up in December, we have 8 fucking categories. That's it. You know, people have asked me to add more categories. I don't really want to, because I want it to be short, concise, to the point. We're only recognizing the best games, period. Like, I fucking hate this shit. Like, you got best action game and best action adventure game. What the fuck is the difference? Someone explain that to me.
Every single year. Dude.
Well, the other thing that we bitch about every year that I'm going to bitch about again this year is that one. Where is it? It's the best strategy game / sim game.
Yo, yeah, the two
what
things.
So you got two categories worth of action, and then one category where two categories could be separate, mashed together, that have no comparison whatsoever. Like, you remember when it was like fucking Microsoft Flight Simulator was up against like Age of Empires or some shit? It was like, why are these in the same category?
No, see, the one that I can't stand is the one that we bitch about every year. One of the other ones we bitch about.
Oh, well, we bitch about all of them every year.
We bitch about all of them. Most anticipated game.
Oh, yeah.
Getting an award for a game that doesn't exist yet. It's just an idea, effectively, at this point. I mean, yeah, there's development. Yeah, it's coming out, sure. But it didn't launch. It didn't release. Who knows what the hell? We could get into the first day of the new year and like, oh, by the way, all these games that we talked about, they're delayed until 2025.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
What's in most anticipated this year?
So that's going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws.
That's not going to be out for 4 years. What are you, nuts?
I mean, apparently it's coming next year.
It's not coming next year. They've only been working on it for a year. It's insane.
I don't think it's
and it's Ubisoft.
No,
Ubisoft just promises game. They don't actually release them. Yeah. What are you, nuts?
And Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is one that, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't paid enough attention. I thought it was coming out this year, but I mean, I guess anticipated game.
I'm surprised Hades 2 is on here, actually. Because that's a little bit more... That's a little bit more indie than they usually... The anticipated game is usually like the unnamed Zelda sequel, Starfield. You know what I mean?
That pissed me off last year.
It
didn't have a name. It doesn't even have a name, and you have it as anticipated. Shut the fuck up.
All right. Well, we've done that one.
So skipping around a little bit.
Yeah, let's skip around.
I want to skip over to Best Narrative. Come along with me, and
come along
with me. And there's one interesting entry in this list, and it's interesting for a couple reasons. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Right.
So
we'll say the nominees to everybody if we're gonna do it.
Well, yeah. So
it's Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3,
yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, specifically the DLC, I guess. Final Fantasy XV16. I had to count those letters. Marvel Spider-Man 2.
So Cyberpunk being on there is really interesting because first and foremost, like, I don't know if they're considering the fact that the 2.0 update came out this year and they're just rolling that in with Phantom Liberty. If that's the case, I mean, I think it may be in the ongoing as well. I'd have to take a look in exit voting to take a look at that. But yeah, I find that one very interesting. And Baldur's Gate in this one is a little interesting, I think, as well.
Why do you say that?
I think it's a little interesting strictly because the story of Baldur's Gate 3, there's like an overarching... Like, there's an overarching story, narrative, I guess you would say, but the story is told completely different. If the nomination for that was one of, because there's so many different possibilities and ways that story can go, good on them, absolutely, it needs to be in here.
Yeah.
But if it is for the overall story of the game, now granted we are still crazy early, so we barely even know what the story is overall. All we know is squid people.
I think I know what you're about to say, and you should give it some time.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I'm sure eventually a story is going to come to light, and at that point I may very well go back and rescind the comment, but as it stands right now, it feels to me that it is the narrative of this is in here because it's how many different ways you can tell the story, tell your story.
So
in that case, it deserves to be in this category. But outside of that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I would argue that. And I would argue that because the individual stories that you run into are just so good and so deep to the point where, like, people react in the way that they would react. And I really enjoy that. Like, it's almost, it's not predictable, but it's like, oh, this makes sense to me. And you're never really, like, soft-locked into making choice A or choice B. You know what I mean? There's, like, it's not even just that there's so many different ways to get through the main game. There's so many different ways to do every little thing you do in the game. Does that make sense? You know? Yeah. Like, there's just so many ways to do everything that, like, every little story feels like an epic story to me. Which, one of the things that I always hated about role-playing games, most of the role-playing games I played, is that you'd always run into these little quests that I'm like, I don't care about this guy and his chicken. Yeah. I just want to find the big bad guy, but I have to do the guy and the chicken so that I can level up so that I can be ready for the guy. You know, it was one of the things I didn't like. And they found a way in Baldur's Gate 3 to make every little fucking quest feel important. And they do it because they make you feel like you're there. Because of that choice. They make you feel like you're in that moment making the decision in the time to, like, help this person or not help this person, or kill this person or not kill this person. And to me, that is an extremely special narrative. All of that being said, so I'd fight you on that, but I would say, all that being said, I see your point from the standpoint of, when I look at a narration category, I'm thinking more of a told story through gaming, right? Like, I'm not necessarily thinking of choice when I'm looking at the narration category. I'm thinking of games like Alan Wake or Spider-Man 2, where there's a story, it's a really good story, and you're moving through the story, you know what I mean, in your own way, you know? And so I kind of get where you're coming from on that, but yeah, I still think it's innovating in the faces of narration. The Cyberpunk thing, fuck Cyberpunk. I don't care that it's good now. You lied to me for years. I'm not going to play your game, nor do I want to. I don't care that you have Idris Elba in it. I don't care. I don't care. And just for everybody out there telling me it's a good game now, if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't care. I'm going to immediately change the subject. And if you keep bringing it back to me, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to leave and stop talking to you. Okay? Honestly, if you want to get rid of me, just keep bringing up Cyberpunk over and over again. I'll just leave. Yeah, I don't think it should be nominatable either, because, like, so we're nominating DLCs now for the Game Awards? I mean, you and I do that, but, like, since when is that part of the Game Awards charter, you know?
Right. It's in best ongoing, and at that point, like, I'll give it the best ongoing.
Right.
For sure. Because at this point, it has evolved like a live service, improved, you know, to the point that, like you said, it's quote unquote good now, which I hate the phrase, but, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, that's the thing, is, like, I think it fits there more so than the best narrative. I mean, granted, I haven't played that.
Well, I'm going to jump over to, and it is in best ongoing.
It is, yeah.
So is Final Fantasy XIV again. Genshin Impact, really? Fortnite? What? Fortnite is, like, hemorrhaging players. Okay. And Apex Legends. Well, we've done that category. Moving on.
There's one, actually, the irony of its nomination is fantastic. Okay. And that's going to be the best community support. So
jumping over to it.
Going through that list there, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XIV, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Days before these nominations came out, Bungie purged a bunch of their community support people.
Yeah.
And then this comes out? You've got to be shitting me, man.
Yeah.
You've got to be shitting me.
You know, Bungie has been nominated here multiple times. and they've always had a good customer support. You got to wonder what's going to happen after that purge. I am also surprised that I think this is the first time in a few years that Warframe isn't nominated again. Warframe always gets nominated in the community support.
That's true.
No Man's Sky is there. That should be. I don't know much about 14. I cannot begin to understand why Cyberpunk 2077 is on here. I mean, okay, they lied to you for like years, man. Like, how is that? Whatever. I don't even want to go down this road. And then I don't understand the Baldur's Gate 3 either. I like Baldur's Gate 3. I just didn't know that there was a ton of community support there. I mean, I know it came from early access to this, but
I think that may have been the route that they were going with everything.
well, and that's possible. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is working on mod support. When they get mod support, I would put them on this list, but right now I don't know that I would put them on this list. All right, so where we jumping around to next? I want to jump around to Best Action Game, first of two of the same category. So we've got Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and then we finally get Remnant 2. This is their only Video Game Award nomination, which is more than I can say for Hogwarts Legacy, which I feel like should be in here somewhere.
I feel like it would have gone in the action/adventure if I'm just,
Yeah. Well, I didn't check the action/adventure. But
they have. I want to see something here real quick because I think they have a differential finally. Okay.
Do
They have a differential, like the description, the action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. Whenever you look at
with
the
traversal
action
and puzzle
adventure,
solving.
Yes. Finally. I don't know why we can't get a different name, but now it makes sense at least.
I don't know that makes that much sense, though. I still think this is
kind of sense.
Yeah, it makes more. I still think it's bloated, real bloated.
It is. It really is. I mean, you could absolutely combine those two down into one category.
Yeah.
I just think that at least it explains itself.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think action adventure is gonna be Zelda then, and I think Remnant 2 should be the best action. I think it should be nominated in more places. Mm-hmm. Best RPG. Well, that's gonna be Baldur's Gate 3, though. Our nominees.
Easy.
Oh, here's Starfield. Starfield did get nominated here. Wow, shit! I didn't even see this one. So Starfield is nominated for best RPG. Ugh. Final Fantasy 16. Lies a P an RPG? Would you consider that an RPG?
Kind of.
Action
Yeah.
game. It's a fucking action game. It's a Bloodborne action game. Is Bloodborne an RPG? Do people out there think Bloodborne's an RPG?
It's got heavy RPG mechanics. I would call it an RPG if you made that.
What are you role playing in it? It's just a fucking story. It's just a straight. Okay, whatever. I don't want to get into it. Sea of Stars, which is a good like throwback retro thing. Starfield. This is going to be the one where they pander and give it to Starfield. But I bet you $1,000. I don't bet you $1,000. I don't have $1,000. Best multiplayer. Let's check that one out. We're going through them a little bit fast because we're starting to run out of time. We got long-winded. Baldur's Gate 3.
Shocker. You know
shit.
what? Let's. I want to. There's two bits that I actually want to like bounce over to, if you will, and then from there it's just kind of I really don't super care about the rest of them. Best adaptation. Best adaptation: Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Brothers.
What the fuck is
movie,
best adaptation?
Twisted Metal. They introduced
this
that
new?
last year. They introduced it last year.
Sure, we need more.
More categories. So basically, adapting a story, into some other form of entertainment.
This immediately pisses me off. This pisses me off.
Tell me
the Game
more.
Awards should not be nominating TV or movies. It shouldn't be doing that. No, it should not be doing that. I'm sorry. This is an award show for video games. We should not be honoring TV or movies. What the fuck, man? There is plenty of movie award shows and plenty of TV award shows. Let them motherfuckers unnominate their shit. What are they doing here? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We have to devote time to this bullshit? What do you mean you guessed? They're not fucking video games, Neil. It's video game awards.
No, I was going to say, they probably won't devote any time to it. It's going to be
one of the throwaways.
And a 5-second pause of silence. And the winner is... And then it just gets highlighted, and then they move on to a trailer. That's what this is probably going to get relegated to. In fact, I would be willing to bet that they're going to, during this category, show a trailer for something like the Fallout show, or maybe like the God of War show, or Horizon show. All of these different shows that they have.
Premiere trailer. Yep. That's a fucking stupid category. I think that category is dumb as shit.
And then the last one that I personally wanted to touch base, the best debut indie game. Pizza Tower's on there.
Yeah, Pizza Tower's on there. I'm glad you wanted to touch base on this, because I wanted to touch base on this for you on here. I saw this.
The only other game... so the games on this list are Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. Viewfinder's the only other one that I had heard of, and it's a very me game that I definitely want to play at some point. But
what's Viewfinder?
Yeah, Viewfinder is a puzzle game where you use an image to create a path forward.
Oh, nice! I know exactly.
So
it's like Subliminal. There's another one.
Yeah, kind of.
The game, yeah. So I've seen the other three. Cocoon, Dredge, Venba. Cocoon was designed by the guy who did Inside, so it's fucking insane and hard to understand what it is, but it's interesting puzzle mechanics. Dredge is really cool, and I want to play it eventually. You play a fisherman in like an eldritch horror setting, and the more you fish, the more you go crazy. It looks like so much fun. And then Venba is weird. Venba is like a... from what I understand, it's like a role-playing game about cooking, but it's all like multicultural, specifically like I believe the Indian culture, and like it's all about like cooking stuff and whatnot. I think Pizza Tower is gonna win that one though. If I had to bet,
I think Pizza Tower is gonna win that one.
Pizza Tower or Cocoon. Cocoon's in the zeitgeist a little bit more now because it just came out.
That's true. Because I do feel like every single year there's that recency bias of we actually forgot what all really did come out this year.
Yeah. I mean, there is something about the like most recent stuff always has kind of like a leg up on things. I want to look in Best Mobile. Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Monster Hunter Now, interesting. I still kind of want to play that. That's the AR Monster Hunter game. I don't understand how that fucking works. To say the least.
It's probably like Pokemon Go.
It is, but it's Monster Hunter, so you actually have to fight the monster and build the armor and stuff, which really sounds cool to me, but I don't understand how that works in the context of walking around outside. So I really kind of want to download it at some point and try it. So, yeah. Oh, Best Performance. Let's talk about Best Performance. I like to talk about the Best Performance area. We got Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16. Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Melanie LeBird, Alan Wake 2. Neil Newborn, Baldur's Gate 3. And then Yuri Lowenthal, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I love Asterian's voice work in there. Neil Newborn does an amazing job with Asterian. If you're somebody who leaves him alive long enough to get to know him, you know who you are. So I lean towards that just because Idris Elba's great, but I'm pretty sure he just does Idris Elba in the game. I don't think we should necessarily give him an award for just...
needs to do.
Yeah, like, why are we giving him an award for being Idris Elba in a digital game? I don't know Ben Starr. I didn't play Alan Wake 2, and I don't know who Yuri Lowenthal plays in Spider-Man 2. So, my pick would be Neil, obviously.
I almost wonder if it's gonna be Cameron Monaghan.
It might be.
Strictly because not only is it, work, but like they did the facial capture and he's doing the full motion capture too. Idris Elba kind of did the same thing, but some of these other guys here, it's just voice work.
Yeah. I don't mind just the voice. Like I see what you're saying. I don't think that should necessarily give them a leg up, though. I guess
That's fair.
Because like it's just, I don't know, like especially if you're not acting it out, I feel like you almost have like an up. Like if you allowed me to like do the actions that I'm doing while also like speaking, I think I'd be better than if I was just like stand in this booth and say these words but do it good, all right, I'm just zipping around now, and I'm not seeing anything else that's really necessarily worth talking.
I mean, yeah, the whole like esports content creator, esports event, blah blah, yada yada. Don't care. Those are the ones I wish they would just dump on the side of the screen.
Yeah. All right, well that's it then. Game of the year. What do you guys think? Do you agree with us? Do you agree with our thoughts? Do you not? Put it in the comments below, or just troll me. A lot of people just do that. And then, we're going to be right back with the newsy bits, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the news. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last segment. This is where we take news headlines that you should know about, that we think you should know about, that we want to talk about. We let you guys know. We go back and forth, but Neil doesn't have any this week because we were doing this so soon after we recorded the last one. I do have 3 because there was a lot of news specifically that interested me this week. We're going to start with some bullshit that just came out today, actually.
Ooh.
Just today. So, WWE 2K23. You know how I keep saying that this is the best wrestling game ever and there's no competition because you can make any wrestling league you want in the confines of WWE 2K23, right? Mm-hmm. They're stopping that. So they've put in a new update today. It does not affect anything you have already downloaded, thank God, because it would completely ruin my show that I've been doing for like a year now. But basically what it does is they've updated their terms of service so that depending on what you're uploading to the creation suite, they can block you, they can report you, they can ban you. And this includes things that are specifically licensed, things that violate any sort of rule or anything. Why are they doing this? Because this would basically extend to like people making Piccolo in WWE 2K23, because that's a big thing too. There's a lot of crazy ones out there. This also extends though to people making stuff from AEW, people making stuff from Impact. Why are they doing this, you might add? Because that's where their supremacy is. Well, my friends, I would like to remind you that it's 2K23. It's a 2K company. So, money. The reason that they're doing it is because of My Faction. My Faction is this fucking god-awful microtransaction festival within WWE 2K23. It's like a mode where you collect like cards, and then those cards turn into wrestlers that allow you to wrestle in My Faction mode, that get more rewards. They get loot boxes that allow you to buy things for points, for in-game currency. Blah, 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 blah. My Faction has all these hidden characters in it already. They always do this every year. Like hidden versions of characters that already exist in the game, hidden characters themselves, stuff like that, so that you play the My Faction, so that you spend the money, so that you unlock the My Faction people. Well, what happens is you have modders, and you have data miners that look in My Faction, they see what's there, they then take the articles of what's there, and then they rebuild that thing in the creation suite that WWE 2K23 creates, and they upload that to the community so that everybody can have it whether you play My Faction or not. Well, they don't like that, so basically they have put this stuff in place so that people will funnel back to the My Faction But the problem is that this creates this like added restriction, right? Where it puts in place, well, you're killing tons of community people who make all these wrestlers. They're not going to want to do it anymore. So you're like, the reason that 2K23 has the supremacy over wrestling games is the ability to make any fucking thing you want in it. Like, that's why it continues to be basically the only wrestling game out there that's worth a damn. Because you can make your AEW roster, you can make your classic WCW roster, you can make your classic WWE roster. If this is all restricted behind my faction, they'll actually lose money. But, heaven forbid, a corporate person thinks about that at all. So this is really hurting because a lot of people are speculating that this has happened here. It's going to definitely be the way it is in 2K24. So they're going to lose people going forward, which means that their creation suite is not going to be there. And I'm going to say this. There are a lot of wrestling games that have been advertised, that are out there, that are coming, that are either Kickstarter campaigns or more indie sort of games. I would never even think they had a chance. You got a chance now. I'm going to tell you that right now, because if WWE 2K24 loses its impeccable community support, the people who make these sweet-ass models that allow me to go online and download the entire Impact roster, they're going to lose their fan base.
Yeah, so that's the thing that really sucks about any sort of like custom content dissemination, is there's always the little teeny tiny caveats about, oh, well, you can't do this, or if you do this, you can't do that, or like, we're going to X, Y, and Z. The whole reason people do the content creation, like, you have to know that if you're going to give people a toolbox, they're going to make things they want to make. Mm-hmm. Chances are, things that they want to make that you didn't give them, you can't be mad when that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
When that shit does happen, rather.
Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think that, like, yeah. I don't know what they're doing. Like, there's a reason you're the only wrestling game in town. Like, how do you not see that? Like, I know you want more money. Everybody wants more money. But, like, when other wrestling games start taking away chunks of your fan base, of your consumers, you're going to lose a lot more than when one dude makes that 1990 rock and puts it on the community page. You know what I mean? Mm. I don't know. All right, next one. This one I'll save the one you're going to have a lot to say about until the end. Digital Extremes. Speak of the devil, the people who make Warframe, they have fired their publishing brand. And so they have only ever published 2 games, but they've had a publishing branch of their company where they don't develop, they talk to a third party and they publish through them. Namely, Wayfinder, which was a game that I was extremely excited about, that they really fucked up the launch of. Like, hyper fucked up the launch of it, which sucks, because I played in some alphas and some betas of that game. I was really excited for its release, and they just botched it. It just made it back to mixed reviews on Steam, and they're still in early access, and they're only selling for $20. So, like, that's how bad they did with that, like, half launch. Like, there was a whole founders thing, and then when they launched, their servers couldn't handle anything. Nobody could get into the game, period. Like, you paid $20 and you sat on your fucking hand. So yeah. So some people have speculated that terrible launch is the reason, even though Wayfinder has not quit. Airship Syndicate has not quit on Wayfinder. They're actually just now coming out with their new season update, a whole new character class that you can play. So they're still going. They're trying to bring it back. I respect that. That being said, Digital Extremes has said that they will transition ownership back to Airship Syndicate, and they are kind of on their own now. And for that, going forward, Digital Extremes will no longer do any sort of publishing whatsoever.
Yeah, I heard just a little bit about this. I wasn't quite sure what the whole story was. But yeah, I had heard about that. And I don't know, like, I don't know if it's just me or what. I feel like a lot of games lately have launched in this state of you can't play it. There was this, you had mentioned about Payday 3 when that came out. Like, anything that has any sort of online component to it anymore, like the servers just cannot fucking handle the initial wave. And I don't know what the deal is.
Well, and one thing that bothers me is it's not even like a game that, like, it's a single player game with multiplayer and you can't get on. These are games that are made specifically for one job, and that is multiplayer play, period. Like, that's what they're there for. Payday 3, Wayfinder, you play those online. They're online. They're live service games. That's what they're there for. So to launch in a situation when nobody can play your game is pretty fucking ridiculous, honestly. And I don't necessarily think there's any sort of excuse for it. I hate to say this. I know a lot of people gave Payday 3 some leeway. Nobody really gave Wayfinder leeway, but a lot of these companies get some leeway on it. Like, oh, their servers weren't ready, blah, blah, blah. They'll be on it. They're blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's no excuse, man. This is what you do. This is your one and only thing. You have one job. One job. That job is to make the game available to the players, period. Like, as a multiplayer person, that's it. I would be hecka pissed if I dropped, 30, 60, even just $20 and couldn't play my game for a month and a half. Like, that's insane to me. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
All right, final one. And this is hysterical because this continues to be a systemic problem with Sony being out of touch with what they are as a company, out of touch with how the world works,
about all of this,
out of touch with what happens in the world. So they have launched their new PS Portal, the new PSP, I guess, which is already the dumbest fucking gadget that has ever existed. Just for reference, if nobody's been listening, the PS Portal is a handheld Nintendo Switch-like device, but you can only play PlayStation games that you own while you're already in contact with your PlayStation. Great. What? That's fucking insane. So, aside from all that, the PlayStation Portable, no, you can't get it. They didn't release enough to get, and scalpers bought them all up and are now inflating the price. I now take you back to, what was it, 2021, 2020, when the PS5 released, and you couldn't get a copy for a year and a half afterwards, and scalpers inflated the price. How the fuck do you not learn from this? How is this possible? Like, how? It blows my mind that you haven't figured out how to release your hardware in a way that isn't immediately ruining your business plans.
They are going for 300 plus on eBay right now.
Yep.
I can't. So, yeah, and what really blows my mind, is all of the reviews are like, oh my God, like, this is so much better than just slapping a controller on your phone. We all were like, we were very skeptical at first, but once we got hands-on with the thing, I'm like, are we forgetting what this thing actually is?
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong. If it goes down to like $100 used someday, one day, instead of buying another controller, I will buy that thing to play my PlayStation game on the couch while somebody else has the TV for $100, which is basically a fancy controller.
Right.
I have wireless controllers. I have a tablet. I have a phone. I have a relatively okay wireless network connection for the most part, knock on wood. All of these reviews are like, it blew my mind how good it was. And then at the same time, in the same exact breath, we're like, but there's no Bluetooth. and you have to buy Sony proprietary headphones, which that, by the way, unless you own a standard pair of Pulse headphones, those Buds and the new version of the Pulse headphones don't come out until December and January. So there's that. And they really kind of screwed the pooch on the whole internet connectivity and not having anything built into it. So there is zero software really running on this thing at all. And you can use this PlayStation Portal on different Wi-Fi networks away from your home as long as your PS5 is in rest mode and connected to the internet. Granted, you'll be beholden to your internet connection one way or another across your entire, between where you're connected, where your PlayStation is, this, that, and the other. But you cannot really take it out into public because a lot of public Wi-Fi, when you go to sign into it, requires you accept terms and conditions. There's no web browser on it to open up and accept the terms and conditions to use this thing out and about.
Mm-hmm.
It is boggling. It is boggling to me. The fact that they went and did this. And on top of that, I was reading an article earlier. Sony's come out and said, we're selling it at a loss. Why?
How are you selling it at a loss?
How?
It's a screen and two halves of a controller. How?
I can get the reasoning of selling consoles at a loss. You sell consoles at a loss to sell software. That's how that shit works.
Right.
That's how eventually the tech catches up. It becomes more profitable. Then they can get away with a price cut, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. That's how they've done it from infinity and beyond, basically. This has no place unless they're expecting everyone and their mother is going to run out and buy those new headphones. And I'll be honest, I don't know of anybody who even has the first generation Pulse headset for the PlayStation anyways.
Right.
Like, let alone some fancy ass earbuds that are a proprietary wireless connection strictly for PlayStation devices. Not having Bluetooth on these things is just stupid.
It's just
straight up and down stupid. To go along with the stupid ass circus of not having this thing run any other apps. They could have easily made it an Android tablet or something like that. But I guarantee you the reason that they don't have anything running natively is because they are fucking horrified that this thing is going to turn into what the PSP was back in the day. The first generations of the PSPs turned into emulation machines. They were cracked, they were broken. You could play Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and eventually even able to download full digital versions of games, pirated, cracked, and install them on there. They're absolutely horrified that that's what people are going to do. I don't understand it. I don't understand what place this thing really has.
You've literally covered everything I had to say. No third-party apps, nothing. It's a Wii U, guys. Are we really that excited about a Wii U? Like, that's what it is. It's a Wii U. Like, it's the worst selling console in the history of the world. That's what they're selling right now. Like, what are we doing with our lives? I don't know.
It's almost the PlayStation back button all over again. Like I said, like, this thing, for the price of what it is that you're getting, you're getting nothing for the price.
Nothing.
That's why I say, if it goes down to $100, like used somewhere, instead of another controller, I would buy this thing as like a backup in case like the TV's preoccupied or something like that.
I think that's ridiculous, but you're right. Most high-end controllers are around $100. So
exactly.
I can't argue that. I still think that's an insane price, but.
And that's the thing. It's like it really, I mean, when you think of an actual PlayStation Edge controller, it's like $75. So
my thing is I play on PC now. I went wired with my controllers, which first of all is way better. You never have to worry about charging the fucking thing, and they're cheaper. They're like $50 cheaper. I pay $100 for the Elite version of the wired controller. Right here, I'm plugged into it right now, guys. This is basically the Xbox Elite version of the controller, but it's wired. You know how much I spent for this? And this is the big bad boy. This is $70, okay? Like, I didn't spend it. I think I got this as a present. But, like, you get an Xbox Elite wireless controller is like, what? Like $150 or something like that?
Not even. It's approaching
Higher than
200.
It's approaching 200.
189.
So like this is 70, and that's a splurge. Like for me, like $100 for this screen is just, it's asinine. It's fucking asinine, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, like I said, you said really everything I was gonna say, so we will move on. You got to do the rant this time.
I did.
And yeah, we're
nice.
done. We're done with the podcast. It felt nice. Did it? It only fills me with hate and rage.
It feels nice sometimes. It really does.
All of the same things Redfall
Reminds
filled
me that I actually feel things.
Sometimes you gotta hurt to feel, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna do the plugs, and we'll be right back with plugs and sleepy time.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with a Neil. Plug!
It has finally occurred. The end has occurred. We have finally finished recording Redfall, and boy howdy, that last boss. All I can say is, because nobody has context for this but the three of us. Boy, that I couldn't stop talking about that last boss after we finished. I just, man, oh man.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. So yeah, Redfall now finally has an end date. I mean, I don't know when date it's gonna be, but we have how many episodes?
Okay, so we did 2 episodes in the final recording, one giant-sized one and then one normal-sized one. I haven't edited them or uploaded them because we just recorded them last night.
Right.
The last episode we have scheduled to come out is the episode before those 2, which comes out on the 9th. So after the 9th, Saturday the 9th, the next 2 Saturdays will be the final 2 episodes of Redfall. So I'm pretty sure your joke in the final episode about being the Christmas episode, it's going to be the Christmas episode, basically.
So the 9th, and then 1, 2... Fuck yeah, it is.
It is. The minute I looked at it, I was like, he's going to get so excited about this. He makes a joke about the Christmas right after one of my insane rants. It's pretty perfectly timed, too. But yeah, great. It will be the Christmas episode. It'll be episode 27 whenever it does come out. So yeah, we did 27 episodes of that god-awful shit show.
Never to do it again. Unless there's a DLC.
We're not going back. No, I did not promise DLCs. I did not. Don't you frown on me, you fucking psychopath. You're like the Joker. You just want to watch the world burn. What are you talking about right now?
I like to hurt so I can still feel things.
We're not done, though. The Last of 3 is far from done. We're going to try and play something fun, I think, the next time we play a game.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be something fun. It's definitely going to be something fun next time.
I was really excited to do this because it was a Let's Play that the 3 of us could do. We had only done streams before that, you know? And this was a Let's Play. I'm just so upset that the game was so bad. Maybe we could find a 3-player game that we all enjoy enough to actually do a Let's Play out of it. We'll have to see. Yeah. So for everybody out, for my stuff, if you are a tabletop role-playing game fan of the pen and paper and the dice variety, please go to itch.io, type single mod in the search engine. You will find my game digitally for $6. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, $6. We are hard at work at some settings for that game. Would really appreciate if you guys purchased it and played it and talked about it on the internet, it would really be awesome. Other than that, we continue to plug away at our other video game related shows. I do have another show to pitch, the Monday after Thanksgiving. I do not remember what it is. I think it's the 27th. Will be the first episode of me and Philbilly's new show, Baldur's Gate 330, where we actually play Baldur's Gate 3 together and we try and roleplay in character. It's interesting. Please check those out. I think I've got uploaded 5 episodes of that, but the first one will be the Monday after Thanksgiving. Nothing else special to plug. We have a lot of other things: Prelude to Divorce, OMGM, streams, tabletop stuff, all of that wonderful stuff. Please check that out. Other than that, you can also contact us on Facebook at OmegaMDH, on Twitter at OmegaMD9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. And you know what? Happy motherfucking Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So I just keep watching this thing. We'll keep making them. See you guys next time. Pause. How happy is it we never have to play Redfall again? Like once a day, I'm going to think about that from here on out. Just like, you know what I don't have to do today? Play Redfall. You know what I don't have to worry about taking off my hard drive? Redfall. You know what I don't have to worry about getting other games around? Redfall. Oh.
And you know what? We just missed the 3rd update.
Oh, man. Did we miss it? Is that the word you want to go with?
That's the word I want to go with.
I don't think that's a... I think I joyously did not get the 3rd
Avoided.
update. Yeah, avoided. Avoided. There you go. I dodged. I nimbly-pimbly dodged away from the 3rd update. Oh,
Escaped.
man. Every time it updated, it would get worse for me. Like, yeah, no.
That
I'm glad.
last time, man.
Dude.
This last time was...
I can't
wow.
wait. I can't wait for people to see that.